channel. If you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be recreating Lex's version of Bloody Mary. Her version, I absolutely love the concept of it. The way she designed it is that Bloody Mary is essentially glass, and so she's shattering and she's actually part of the mirror, and I just think that is such a unique and interesting idea, and I absolutely love that. Anyways, she has a tutorial for this look, and I will leave that linked down below. Her channel is Made You Look, and so once again, I'll leave all the links down below, but you guys definitely need to check it out because it is so amazing. And then when I saw Mikey from Glam and Gore recreate it, it was set in stone. I wanted to do it. I needed to be a part of this, and you know, I really love how it turned out. I mean, it's kind of hard to see now because I have contact lenses in, but with what I saw before I put these guys in, I feel like I was really liking where it was going. It's so neat and cool. My character definitely isn't as pale as hers, only because I did not use white body paint. I wasn't in the mood to really want to deal with that, and you know, I don't mind that I didn't. I kind of like the more lively Bloody Mary, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm still pale. If you saw me in person, I'm still pale. I'm just not white. I'm not white swan white.
Titanium white.
Anyways, this is also going to be a look that is kind of reintroducing the gore and SFX area back into my channel, just because I want a nice healthy balance between lifestyle, creative, beauty, and gore and special effects makeup. I kind of want, you know, a healthy balance between all of those on my channel, but you know, it's just kind of like feeling like, what am I really wanting to do at the moment? What am I feeling more passionate about? And because, you know, when I was doing a bunch of my looks, Halloween was still rather recent, and so was Christmas when I was doing more special effects like looks. And so I did want to kind of break away from that just for a little bit, just so I could kind of get the other looks out there that maybe during Halloween people weren't getting their fill of. But I miss fake blood and scab blood and latex and all of that, so I'm definitely going to be reintroducing the gore back into my channel. So I'm gonna give you a little sprinkle, a dash of special effects here on my channel again, because like I said, I want a healthy balance. I kind of want a little bit of everything. So with that being said, I'm going to be having a few gore special effects looks right before we go into prom makeup. And I'm sorry because I do know a lot of people are having their prom at the moment, but with everything that was going on, I am actually going to be uploading those next week. So if you already had your prom and you might have been looking for a tutorial, I am so sorry about that, but I should be having 2 videos going up next week, a glam and a more natural prom makeup tutorial, so you kind of have a nice option. Also, if you want prom makeup from me but you haven't seen any prom tutorials yet, you can go back and looking at my Christmas videos, at my Valentine's videos. A lot of those you can substitute for prom makeup. I even have in some of the tags prom makeup listed, just because a lot of them, you know, just because I didn't do it during prom season doesn't mean it won't work for your prom dress. So check them out. I have just a makeup tutorials playlist if you guys want to check that out, and you can just kind of look through them. And if you want like a rainbow eye, I have one of those. If you want like a copper smoky eye or something, I probably have one of those too. I have gold. So you know, you can take your look, and if it's whatever suits ya. So anyway, if you guys want to see me recreate this makeup look, just keep watching. Jumping right into it, we are going to be taking our NYX Photo Loving Primer and applying that all over our face just so we can fill in all of those pores. Then we're going to be taking our NYX Total Control Foundation, and this is in the color Porcelain. And I'm going to be using my IT Cosmetics Airbrush buffing brush, and I'm just going to be buffing this into my skin. Feel free to be adding some white body paint if you'd like to make this look more pale, but I did notice that whenever I turned the light down, it did definitely make me look more pale. So it kind of also depends on your lighting, how white you want to look. But as another little tip, I'm just going to be taking my ColourPop No Filter Concealer, and this is in, I think it's 0, and this is just basically white. And I'm just going to be applying this to the areas that I would normally highlight, and when I start to blend this out, this is actually going to make my foundation look more pale. The problem with white body paint is it is very difficult to get full coverage and have it not look splotchy in any way, so I've been finding that taking incredibly pale foundations can actually substitute for white body paints at some points, especially when I want it to look like skin and I don't want it to necessarily look like paint. Next, I'm just going to be blending this down to my neck as well, so I'm just going to be splotching it in certain areas and then just blending it out using my foundation brush. And however, I didn't do another coat on my body, and if I were to go back, I probably would add another coat of the white concealer just to make it look more pale, or feel free to even take the body paint onto your chest specifically because it's not necessarily on your face, so it doesn't really matter that much because it won't be horribly streaky because it is just kind of an accent piece of this look. It's not the prime focus, which essentially is the face. Next, I'm going to be taking my Morphe 35B palette, taking the white eyeshadow, and just applying this eyeshadow all over my lid, and even bringing it down under my eyes a little bit, just to set that area as well. To set it even more, I'm actually going to be taking my Airspun translucent powder in a large fluffy brush. If you have enough white eyeshadow, I would probably recommend using that instead, but this is probably the most product I had on hand, so I just went with this. Next, I'm going to be taking my Morphe 35B palette, taking the red eyeshadow, and I'm just going to be sparingly applying this through my eyebrow just so it can have a nice red tint. Then I'm going to be moving on to eyeshadow, and I'm just going to be lightly applying this into the crease, making sure to blend it out so we don't have any harsh lines. Next, I'm going to be applying it to both the outer and inner corner of the eye so it can create the halo eye effect. Then once again, you just want to make sure to blend as you go. Next, I'm going to be taking the white eyeshadow again and applying it right onto the lid. Then I'm going to be applying the red eyeshadow to my lower lash line as well. You're also going to want to make sure to blend this out, especially on the lower lash line, so you don't have any awkwardly harsh lines. Next, we're going to be taking the black eyeshadow from the palette, and we're just going to be applying this to the outer inner corner and then blending it out into the crease, and also applying it to our lower lash line as well. This is going to darken the look and definitely give it more of a vampy effect. Since black is a very harsh color, you definitely want to make sure to blend this out so that you don't have any streaks in your makeup. Next, I will be going back into my red eyeshadow, and I'm actually going to be using this as the base for my contour, so I'm just going to be applying it to every area that I would normally contour on my face. So this is my cheekbones, my forehead, my temple, and my jawline, and you're also going to be contouring your nose as well. Then we're going to be deepening that contour with our black eyeshadow, basically using it as the darker contour shade that you would normally use in your daily routine, and I'm just going to be going over it. And once again, you want to make sure that you're blending this out because, once again, black is a very harsh color, and especially on your face, you don't want any streaks or harsh lines. To make more of a chiseled contour, we're going to be taking our ColourPop concealer again, applying that right under the contour, and then blending that out, blending downwards so that you have a nice sharp line under your cheekbones. Next, I'm going to be taking my Marilyn Paradise paint in black, and I'm just going to be recreating the cracks that Lex has on her makeup. So in order to do this, I'm actually looking at the picture through the reflection of the mirror, so that way I have it looking exactly as she painted it, and it's not on a reflected side, so it would end up being on the wrong side of my face. This is the best way to do it if you want to recreate it identically, or as close to identical as you possibly can. So I'm just looking at it and trying to slowly copy every single detail. Since this is a process, I'm literally just basically looking at the cracks, trying to make them as sharp and defined as possible. The hardest part about this is to make sure that there's still dimension in the cracks, so adding the highlights and shadows that the cracks have definitely adds life to this look. And I did record this at probably like 10 p.m. and I hope y'all know, me sitting alone in a dark room in front of a mirror as I'm creating a Bloody Mary makeup tutorial wasn't the most fun. It was kind of spoopy, if you know what I'm saying. And I did have like some, I guess, just weird things happen that definitely could have just been settings on my camera or a timer or something, but I included footage at the end of this video if y'all want to check it out. Just kind of throwing that out there in case y'all are curious to see, like, I don't know, it was just a weird thing, so yeah, fun. Anyways, moving on, we're going to be moving on to our eyeliner. So I'm just taking my NYX Epic Ink Liner, and I'm just going to be creating a nice sharp winged eyeliner. This is definitely going to draw some more attention to the eyes than is already there. However, it isn't going to take away from the look just because it definitely fits how this look, and you know, Lex did it, so we're just kind of following what she did. Next, we're going to be taking our black eyeshadow again, and we're just going to be creating the shadows on the cracks of the mirror. It was definitely really helpful having her reference photo so I knew exactly where to put the shadows, because that is something that I didn't really learn because I never really took any art classes. Learning like shading and shadowing and all of that stuff is still a little bit more of an obstacle for me, but basically you just want to find an area that light would hit and then have a slight highlight between the shadow and the object. So for example, I'm having a tiny area where there isn't any shadow between the body paint and the shadow that I add, just so that serves as the highlight for the crack, because when something breaks, there's always going to be a raised edge. So that's basically the illusion that we're giving during this process. Next, I'm taking my Graftobian Pro Paint in Red Crimson, and I'm just going to be adding a little bit more dimension into the cracks. So we're going to be giving a blood red kind of shadow effect. So I'm just going to be applying this to certain areas in the cracks just so it has a little bit more dimension. Kind of like how if you painted a crack, you would have areas that you would highlight in the cracks and areas that you would darken. We're going to basically just be using red for this process. Next, for the neck piece, I'm actually just creating really random images. I did see in Lex's tutorial that she basically just scribbled on herself, and like I said, I can't draw, so this part definitely took some imagination, so I'm just adding random shapes, kind of making a $ like image on my neck, and then just filling in random kind of doily effects and dots and trying to make it look busy. Even though we're basically going to be covering this section with blood, it kind of adds just a little bit more dimension. But if you really can't draw, just scribble something on really fast, and then we're going to be covering it up with blood, and the blood drips kind of give a natural looking doodle effect, so that was definitely really helpful for people like me who can't draw. Next, I'm just going to be taking a break from that and moving on to my lips. So I'm just taking my NYX lip liner, and this is in Brick House, and just outlining my lips. Feel free to point them if you would like. I didn't, just because that's not how Lex did them, but looking back, I do think that would have been a really fun thing to add, is kind of giving a devil-like point to the corners of your lips, so feel free to do that if you'd like. Next, we're going to be filling it in, taking our ColourPop liquid lipstick, and this is in Lost. Now, I didn't show this part while filming, but while I took my pictures, I realized that there was something missing from my lips, and I found out that it was actually because I didn't do an ombre sort of look. So I did take some black eyeshadow later on and darkened the edges and just blended it in, so it kind of gave a nice darker look to this whole makeup. It definitely made it look a lot creepier in my opinion, and added more dimension and effects to the lips. Next, I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal So Kiss Me eyeliner in charcoal, and I'm just tightlining my lower waterline. Then we're moving on to the blood. So since once again I'm putting this kind of all over my body, I typically tend to use my cheaper blood. This is some fake blood that I got from Walmart during Halloween. If I am doing something that is, you know, more focused on an injury, then I actually will use some of my nicer blood. But since I've just kind of let this pour down my face, I don't mind if it's the cheaper stuff because it kind of dries and looks creepy, so it works all the same. So I'm just recreating some of the blood marks that she has on her face, and then I'm also going to be bringing that down to my neck piece as well. I did find that it was easier to put in my white mesh contact lenses though before I started going around my eyes, just because I do know that sometimes when I put in fake contact lenses my eyes will water, so I didn't want to have fake blood under my eyes and then potentially have my eyes water and it just smears the blood, but not in the good way. So I definitely found that it was easier to do that and then move on to doing other things. I probably could have done the neck piece before I put the contact lenses in, however I just did it afterwards because I didn't want to potentially get blood on my hands and then have to put my contacts in, because you know blood sometimes stains and can be difficult to remove, and I didn't want to have to deal with putting it in my eyeballs accidentally. Next, I'm taking my Ben Nye Fresh Scab Blood, and I love this stuff. However, probably should have put this on before the blood just because it wasn't really wanting to stick to my body, and because I couldn't see, because I was visually impaired, I couldn't really blend it out, and I just kind of winged it. So I didn't have as much chunky blood as I might have wanted, but I still think it looked good. Plus, Lex didn't really use that much chunky blood in her look, so I think it still works. And last but not least, we're moving on to eyelashes, so I'm just going to be taking my Tarte Tardiest Lash Paint Mascara, sweeping that through my eyelashes, and for my false eyelashes, I'm just taking my Kiss Lash Couture eyelashes in Lavish and just applying that to my upper lash line. You're also going to want to apply some extra liquid eyeliner on top of that lash band just to help blend them in once you've set them to your eyes and they have dried. And that is the completed look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see next. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my creepy videos or fun, pretty videos, whichever you want. So with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!